these are Murray's official court documents with all his charges and everything. I'll read out the relevant information. But we've got a charging document here, and the charging document says the offence description was you being a driver of a vehicle that was stopped. You failed to remain stopped for as long as was necessary for an enforcement officer to obtain the particulars referred to in the Land Transport Act 1998. Now this offence description, I can already see, is quite interesting in itself, because this first sentence, you being a driver of a vehicle that was stopped. Now who saw the footage yesterday? Did anyone see him driving the vehicle and being stopped? He was not driving at the time. You failed to remain stopped for as long as was necessary for an enforcement officer to obtain the particulars referred to in the Land Transport Act 1998. Have you seen the Land Transport Act 1998? It would take you at least a year to go through that and get all the information you need. There's a lot in there, so quite a vague description. There's a second charging document here which says the offence is he intentionally obstructed Sergeant Buchanan, a sergeant acting in the execution of his duty. Now, I haven't yet obtained the footage of what happened when he pulled out of where we finished filming, but I do know someone who has it and I'm working on getting it. Hopefully it won't be much longer. This is just summoning him to court today. God. Summary of facts. Let's see. At about 2:10 p.m, the defendant was stationary when his vehicle parked on Molesworth Street, Wellington. The defendant was part of the Freedom Protester group. The defendant had failed to pay the Wellington City Council parking fees for parking his vehicle on Molesworth Street and was in the process of receiving a ticket from a parking warden because of this. Now, this just sticks out to me a little bit because he was not in the process of receiving a ticket from anybody. They all approached him at once as a bit of a group. The parking wardens were together with the police officers before this all started. The defendant became verbally abusive towards the parking warden. Due to fears the situation was going to escalate, police intervened. I don't know about you guys, but the point of escalation to me was when the police arrived, not before that. Once police intervened, the defendant became defensive and verbally abusive towards attending police. Police requested the defendant's details due to his behaviour. The defendant refused and got into his vehicle. The defendant was warned that he would be arrested for obstruction if he continued with his behaviour. The defendant has then got into the driver's seat of his vehicle and attempted to drive away. A police officer told the defendant to remain stopped so his particulars could be obtained as part of a routine traffic stop.
Fuck off.
This was a routine traffic stop, sorry, I'll keep going. The defendant refused this and drove at speed north on Molesworth Street. The defendant was eventually stopped a short distance later on Molesworth Street by other attending police units, who just happened to be in the area. Defendant's comments. In explanation, the defendant stated that he was not detained, so didn't need to remain for anyone. The defendant, no, that's not the defendant. And then we've just got a criminal history there, which we will leave. It's a bit private, but those are the documents, Fano. I read it word for word. You heard it here first.
Yeah, Zip Jackson live. We're all pretty relaxed around here.
Oh, and just adding to that, there's another document here that he received after his not a hearing today, what was it? Just his appearance. After his appearance today, he received this document, which just says that he needs to remain at a particular address that he has listed here. Obviously, I'm not going to read that address out, but he must remain at this address, and he must attend personally at Wellington District Court on Friday the 17th day of March 2023. So 17th of March 2023. I sure hope the officers aren't busy with other things in March 2023 and it doesn't get put off again like it has for so many freaking people. But yeah, back in court 17th of March next year. Interesting. Thanks for watching, whānau. A special shout out to Yvonne and Claire for subscribing to my Patreon. I appreciate your support. If you would like early access to behind the scenes videos, please head over to Patreon and hit that subscribe button. Kia ora.